Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world, you're tuning in to episode 14, I believe. Maybe it's 15. I've lost track. The next episode of A Voice from the Ever Change. And so if you've been tuning in, you already know the format here, but for those of you who are new, I'll just briefly go through that. What I'll be doing here is I'll ring the meditation bell, and then I'll offer a guided meditation, a very brief guided meditation into silence. We'll start with the breath, we'll go through the body, we'll conclude with the field of sound, and we'll rest in that silent space just for a few moments. And then in that silence that we collectively cultivate, I will offer a poem that I composed. And that poem is really designed to bring the meditation to a deeper level. So we allow the poem to really guide our awareness wherever the words might want to take us. And then after the poem, just after the poem, I'll offer a commentary on the poem. Again, a commentary which I composed. Both of these can be found in my latest book entitled A Voice from the Ever Change, which is where the videocast gets its name from. By the way, if anybody here is watching who would like a copy, a PDF of the book, I'm happy to email that out for free. So some people like to read along, or after they watch, they like to go back and read the poem again, and that's great. It's beautiful that people are doing that. And it can be read over and over again and bring different things each time. Even for me, when I'm sitting here reading the poem, different things come up for me that came up when I wrote the commentary, which has been quite an interesting experience for myself personally. So the poem that I've selected tonight is the first poem of the second chapter, of chapter 2, on resting. Now, the type of resting that I'm referring to in this book, it's not a resting where we just rest and be lazy and flip on the TV and veg out or numb out. That's not the type of resting I'm referring to. I'm not referring to the type of resting where we just go along with whatever happens. Now, this type of resting that we cultivate in a particular type of meditation practice, this type of resting is a resting which allows one to embrace the present moment in a very deep and profound way, to become intimate with the present moment. Because in this resting, we identify the tensions, the resistances that we have to whatever's arising in the present moment. And so we allow ourselves to rest, and those resistances dissolve, and we can be more readily available to embrace what's arising in the present moment. So that's where these poems, this poem tonight will come from. Now, a little bit of background on the commentary. In the commentary that I'll read, I refer to quite a famous story in the Buddhist canon. And by the way, when I give these video seminars or talks or whatever you want to call them, when I teach one-on-one, when I teach everywhere, whenever I teach, I don't come from a religious point of view. I try to teach from a very secular, non-religious viewpoint. But I am trained primarily in the Buddhist traditions, as many of you already know, and so when I tell stories, I often draw from that tradition for my storytelling. And so the commentary that I'm going to use tonight draws from the Buddhist canon. In particular, I mention a monk named Mahakassapa, who is traditionally thought of being one of the founding fathers of Zen Buddhism. Now, Mahakassapa attended a talk that the Buddha was giving. He was one of the Buddha's primary disciples. And in this talk, the Buddha didn't say anything. It was a silent sermon, as it's known now. But everybody was there meditating, all of the monks, all of the people that were in attendance, everyone's meditating, and while the Buddha was meditating, he held up a flower. And everybody, all of the monks and nuns, everybody in attendance looked, and they saw the Buddha was holding up a flower, and they were thinking, well, is he going to say something? What is this about? And Mahakasyapa actually just smiled. And it's thought that the Buddha could recognize that Mahakasyapa got the teaching. He understood why the Buddha was holding up the flower. So that's a little bit of background that you might find useful when I launch into the commentary here. Now, after the commentary, I will probably, maybe, talk a little bit about the current world climate, although not necessarily. That's I kind of an improvise at the end, generally. I may not. I might just ring the bell and say goodnight, that's it. But I might say a few words at the end. And again, that's all off script. There's nothing, I'm not reading or anything there. I'm just talking heart to heart. Okay. I think that's all I need to say. I think it's meditation time. So I'll ring the bell and I will guide us into silence. Enjoy. So allowing the body to rest. Allowing your muscles to relax and grow soft. Just coming into this present moment experience, allowing the mind to rest and allowing the heart to rest. And breathing in and breathing out, bringing awareness and attention to the breath as it enters the nose and leaves the nose. There might be a cool or a dry sensation there. And simply noticing any sensation arising as the breath enters and leaves the nose. Noticing the breath as it touches the back of the throat. There might be a dry or a tingling sensation there. Perhaps simply noticing the temperature changing from cooler to warmer as you inhale and exhale. Allowing awareness to expand to include the rib cage, expanding and contracting with each breath. There might be sensations of clothing, moving to adjust with the rising and falling of the body. Perhaps noticing the abdomen rising and falling as well as you inhale and exhale. You might notice the back moving out as you breathe in as you breathe out. Noticing the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you might also notice sensations of clothing resting against the shoulders. Noticing the arms resting against the body. You might notice the hands resting against the body or touching each other. You might also notice sensations of clothing against the back, the weight of the body against the chair, cushion, mat, or floor. There might be sensations of clothing against the legs, the feet against the mat or floor. And while resting with the experience of breath and body, noticing any sensations which might be arising from the cheeks of the face. There might be sensations arising from the ears, noticing the chin, the lips, the nose and the eyes. Sensations arising from the forehead. Noticing any sensations arising from the back of the head and the top of the head. Bodily sensations are always present moment experiences. And so you can always find the present moment through the sensations of the breath and the body. And if during this meditation you become distracted by your thoughts, bringing yourself back to the present moment by experiencing the breath and the body. And then also allowing awareness to embrace any sounds which might be available. Sounds are always present moment experience as well. You don't need to focus on any one particular sound, but allow yourself to experience the entire field of sounds. Hearing all of the sounds all at the same time. As if you were listening to the universe orchestrate the soundtrack of the present moment. And in addition to any sounds, paying close attention to the quality of still silence which surrounds the present moment. There's always a silent space in each moment of experience. And so we'll rest right there, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the sensations of the breath, the body, silence and sound, and just rest. Breathing in and breathing out. And now resting in this open, spacious awareness, this silent space, which includes the sensations of body and breath, and the sounds. I'll offer this poem as a way of deepening the meditation practice. Allow the words to the poem to simply guide your awareness wherever it may want to go. What does the beauty of a flower tell you about yourself? What does the radiance of a sunset open in your heart? What does the vastness of the night sky touch in your soul? What does the laughter of a friend bring into your being? What does the song of rain sing to your heart? What does the silent space of now open in your soul? Our true nature is just this, only this, just here, just now, just rest. The commentary. When Mahakasyapa smiled as the Buddha held up the flower, what did he see? It is very likely he saw not only the flower, but also the sunshine. He saw the clouds and the rain in that flower. He might have also noticed the soil, the fertilizer, the nutrients which nourished the flower. Mahakasyapa could also see the seedling which gave rise to that flower, and to all of the nutrients that flower would later become, providing a source of life for hundreds of other beings. He would have seen the bees which pollinated that flower and drew pollen from this one flower, and pollinated dozens of other flowers as well. Mahakasyapa might have also become aware of all of the prehistoric bee-like animals which evolved into the current bee, and the future of the bee evolution as well. I like to imagine that, as a result of the lush colors radiating out from that flower, Mahakasyapa also saw a deep sense of beauty and the creative force inherent in nature. This flower could have also pointed Mahakasyapa's awareness back to himself, showing him the amazing power of the human nervous system, which allows the perception of dazzling colors, beautiful fragrances, and extraordinary exquisiteness, not only of flowers, but in all experiences. With this insight, perhaps he might have also seen the evolution of mankind as well, starting with the first fish, which developed the capacity to breathe oxygen, and over millions of years of evolutionary struggle, eventually forming and developing a nervous system which could perceive the gorgeous colors and fragrances of a rose. Thus, insight into this precious human birth and gratitude for the incredible ability to witness the entire universe and its unfolding hidden deep within the red petals of a flower. I gaze up into the evening sky and watch the sun slowly dipping into the horizon. What is it about this experience which brings about such a deep sense of awe? I stand motionless in a state of stunned silence, watching as the glowing orb of life-giving energy strikes the horizon, shattering out lustrous shards of orange, red, purple, and yellow throughout the dusk-laden evening. I reflect on the miracle of the human capability to perceive such a world. No other species that we know of appreciates, gravitates towards, nor flocks to admire aesthetic beauty in this way. Walking with a friend through a meadow in silence. An old abandoned lighthouse, a beacon of hope for those who may be lost, rises up to pierce the night sky, offering guidance to wayward sailors and a beacon to those who might be lost. We lie in the grass, gazing up at the star-studded moonless sky. The open darkness, a reminder of the vastness of awareness itself. Each star hanging in the open, spacious night sky hangs there much in the same way each of our thoughts hang in the open, clear, spacious awareness which we are. The clouds float through the open, vast night sky, just as our feelings and emotions float through the vast, open awareness which we are. My friend offers a brief, humorous story from her past. The words from her heart drift through the boundless awareness, and soon we are falling into laughter. Not just a polite chuckle, mind you. No, we are literally rolling around holding our bellies. Tears emanating from the corner of my eyes as my mind fills with images of the story I was just told. Before too long, our laughter begins to subside, and a gentle warmth fills my heart. As I notice this warmth, it begins to generate out, permeating my bones, flooding my muscles, emanating out through the surface of my skin, gradually filling my whole body and mind. Is this simply the product of a rush of serotonin? I think not. Sitting comfortably, I notice my breath, my body, the colors and the shapes of the visual field hanging before my eyes. I am aware and in attention. My thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions pass through me. And I am love. A love which effortlessly embraces this vast, open field of experience, and at the same time is itself a part of the whole. I notice the gentle patter of rain on the roof turn into a lush waterfall, cascading through the radiant warmth of the open-hearted awareness which I am, which I have always been, and which I will be for eons and eons to come. And then there is just this. There is just the sound of rain, yet no one hearing. There is just the radiant warmth, yet no one there who feels. The cool, dry breath touching my nose and throat, yet no one feeling it. The dazzling display of space, shadow, color, and light, yet no one is there to see it. Thoughts, but no thinker. Feelings, but not one who feels. Just this. Just this arising and passing. That is all there ever could be. Just so. Just rest. And so if anybody is interested in cultivating this type of resting meditation, I did do a guided meditation on resting on Saturday. So I think that was a few days ago. Today's the 7th, so Monday would be the 6th. It would be April 4th. So if you go back a few episodes on Facebook, or if you go to my YouTube channel, you can find me guiding in this format a meditation on resting. Or there's also a resting practice on my website, www.suchsweetthunder.org. And that practice, again, is really designed to allow one to cultivate this type of resting, where we can rest in the ever change, drawing from the title of the book. Because everything is changing. It is only ever change. The whole universe, the whole experience of being is in a constant state of change. And that desire for things to remain the same is what brings much, much suffering. Because the human being, our human nervous system, we see things as being permanent. We see the tree and we label it tree. And because that tree, the word tree, is static, and we put that static label on this living being, this tree that's in a constant state of change, but we put that static label on it. And in that labeling process, we fix the world into a static, deadened world. When we can see the world free from labeling, free from our map-making mind, we see a world that's actually vibrant and in this constant state of flux, in this constant state of change. So cultivating the ability to rest in the ever change is really a wonderful, wonderful gift. I highly recommend it. If you have the time, if you have a meditation practice already, that's good. Then the resting practice can work as an accessory to that meditation practice. By the way, all of the videos, that's all for free there. And if any questions come up about meditation, send them over. I'm doing a Q&A session every Sunday on Facebook Live at the same time. So if you have any questions about resting practice or any questions about meditation or philosophy or anything you've heard me read or talk about, send them over. I'll be happy to address those on Sunday evening. So resting in the ever change, and we're seeing so much change right now in the world. It's happening at an alarming rate, right? I think we can all see that. We turn on the news at 8 a.m. and the news is different at 10 a.m. and at 12 noon it's different, and changing so fast now across the globe. We're seeing this global ever change at an alarming rate. But everything is changing in that way. Just many changes happen at such a slow, incremental pace that we don't notice them. We don't notice the oak tree that's changing because its lifespan is 200 years old and it looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. And unless somebody cuts it down or unless a hurricane comes and rips it up, it'll probably look exactly the way it did as it does today, tomorrow. And so we imagine this world of permanency. It doesn't exist. The world is ever change. The good part about impermanence and embracing this ever change is that when things are grim, when our mind puts the label of not good or the label of unpleasant on a situation, we know that that situation is eventually going to change. It's eventually going to pass, right? So that's the good news. Also, when things are really wonderful and calm and copacetic and peaceful and lovely and we're enjoying life, we know that that also will change. But that is also beautiful because now, with that knowledge that this won't last forever, we can be more present with that experience. We recognize that, yes, this beautiful moment, perhaps we're listening to a wonderful piece of music, or we're walking along the beach holding hands with somebody we love. Beautiful, right? But when we recognize that that too will pass, we can be more present. We're there with the loved one. We're there hearing the sound of the ocean. We're there seeing the colors of the sunset. We're not thinking about the business meeting that we're going to have the next day. We're not checking our messages on the phone. We know that those precious moments are fleeting. Every precious moment is fleeting. So we don't take anything for granted any longer. And I mention this because many people think that the teachings of impermanence, or the idea that the world, that human experience is this constant stream of ever-changing experience, many people find that scary or grim. But it's actually quite beautiful, because it really puts us into the present moment. You don't want to be anywhere else because you don't want to miss it. And so cultivating the ability to rest in meditation practice, also we cultivate the ability to recognize that we've mapped out the world with our thoughts. Because in meditation, we see the thoughts arise and we watch them pass, or we label them thinking, which lets them go. So we see the thoughts aren't the world. We tend to think that the world has our thoughts sewn into it. That our label tree, for example, is etched into the side of the tree. When we start meditating, we recognize that that's not the case. We recognize that our thoughts about the world are different than the world itself. And so we start to see through that map that we've laid on the world, that we have superimposed over our experience, and we start to become more intimate with experience itself. And so it really does become quite a profound, quite a beautiful experience, this embracing the ever change. Because we only get one time through, at least one time through, that most of us will remember. Don't you want to be there for it? And you can try it as an experiment, sit for just 5 minutes in a park or by the seaside, and just don't label anything that you see, and feel what that feels like. You look at the ocean and you don't label it blue or rough or calm or salty or whatever. You just see the ocean. You feel the breeze and you don't label it warm or humid or cool or dry. You just feel the texture of the breeze against your skin, blowing through your hair, if you're fortunate enough to have hair. The suchness of the world escapes most of us. Don't miss it. Even during a pandemic, it's worth experiencing. So I think that's all I want to say today, this morning, tonight, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I'm offering these videos, this series, this Facebook Live, as my humble contribution to trying to raise the light, raise the energy, raise the awareness during this time of crisis. I just want to extend my gratitude for all of those other people who are doing that, all of the yoga that I see out there online these days. Facebook Live has become a wonderful vehicle, Zoom as well, Instagram, all of the meditation that's being offered, these worldwide meditation practices, people playing jazz jams, I saw some Philharmonic doing Beethoven's Ninth through Zoom. I'm not sure how they worked that out, but that was quite something. All of these offerings, cat videos, anything that can help raise the energy, raise the awareness. We're in this incredible time of change. Now, I know there's a lot of suffering happening in the world right now, but suffering traditionally has always been the instigation of growth. And for those of us who have touch with that silent space, who are in touch with the suchness of the world, or who have the talent of music, who can bring a smile to somebody's face through the art of jazz, or through telling jokes online, or sharing their cat videos, whatever it is, we need to keep doing this through this time of change. We need to all come together. It is for my lifetime a golden opportunity. I've never seen anything like this opportunity for the world to come together. So thank you for those who are doing it. For audience members, well, everybody who's giving needs somebody to receive. And so that side of it is just as necessary. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for receiving the love, the light, the humor, the music, the art, whatever it is that you're receiving. We need you there as well. And we know that you will share it in your own way, in your own time. So I will be back again tomorrow, and hope to see you all then. Have a great morning, have a great afternoon, have a great evening. Much love, much light. Thank you.